Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling a really powerful idea.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
It's about how your fundamental assumptions, the things you believe deep down, can profoundly shape your life
Yeah.
and, the future you end up creating.
Okay. Assumptions. Interesting.
Yeah, we've been digging into this source material, haveyouvefeared.pdf. And our mission for this deep dive is really to pull out the key insights, specifically how getting a sense of certainty, even when things are tough, how that can act as a kind of mental blueprint, like mental engineering for real personal transformation.
Mental engineering. I like that term. And what's immediately compelling, I think, about this source is its core assertion.
Which is?
That your life genuinely tends to, align with what you deeply assume. It's not just about hoping things work out.
Right, not just crossing your fingers.
Exactly. It's about understanding the active role our sort of ingrained expectations play, how they direct our focus and ultimately our actions.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit more then. So the principle seems to be that what you expect to happen often does happen.
Well, yeah, but not through some, magical thinking.
No, I get that. It's because your expectations influence where you put your energy, right?
Precisely. If you anticipate failure, maybe you subconsciously hold back or sabotage yourself a little. But conversely, if you have this strong expectation of success, that could really propel you forward, give you more determination.
Okay. And the source poses this really fascinating question.
Yeah.
What if you operated under this, fundamental assumption that everything,
even the bad stuff.
yeah, even the challenges, the setbacks you're facing right now, what if you assumed it's all ultimately contributing to a positive outcome for you?
That's a big shift in perspective.
It is. And it suggests that adopting this assumption, really acting as if your goal is already locked in, that's not just being optimistic.
It's more deliberate.
Exactly. It's a deliberate way of structuring your mental landscape, that mental engineering idea again.
Right. And this connects to those historical examples the source brings up. They really illustrate it.
Yeah, like Henry Ford. He just pushed ahead with the automobile, completely convinced, even when almost everyone thought he was, crazy.
Unshakable conviction, yeah. Or Thomas Edison.
Oh, definitely. Thousands of attempts for the light bulb.
But he operated from this base assumption that success was inevitable, right? It was just a matter of finding the way.
And then you've got figures like Charles Schwab, Andrew Carnegie.
Right, shaping entire industries. Their belief, their vision, it wasn't just internal. It seemed to have this tangible effect.
What stands out in those examples, I think, is how their assumptions seem to just fuel relentless action.
And attract the right circumstances, maybe?
Yeah.
It wasn't passive hope. It felt like this deep-seated certainty.
Yeah, and that certainty likely influenced how they solved problems, how they inspired others.
With Carnegie, for example, the source points out that he seemed to operate as if the positive result was already a done deal, in his mind anyway.
So for you, the listener, the really crucial question becomes, what if you started adopting that kind of underlying assumption?
The it's all working out for me assumption.
Yeah. Even with the difficulties, the setbacks,
Yeah.
assuming they're somehow working towards something good for you, how might that fundamentally change your approach?
How would you react differently? How would you act differently?
Exactly. And this ties right back into that mental engineering concept.
It's more than just thinking positive thoughts, then.
Much more. It's an active, ongoing process, consciously shaping your dominant beliefs, your expectations, kind of like programming your mind for where you want to go.
And it's really important, isn't it, to distinguish this from just wishful thinking.
Absolutely critical. The source is clear. This isn't about sitting back and passively wishing for a good result.
No.
It's about actively living and making decisions as if that positive outcome is already certain.
That's a huge distinction. It's the difference between saying, gosh, I hope this works out, and making choices, taking actions based on this deep belief that it will work out.
And this belief you choose, the source points out, it directs your mental energy, your subconscious mind. It tends to accept and build on whatever messages you feed it consistently.
Okay, so the impact of our assumptions, whether they lean negative or positive, it's actually pretty significant.
Hugely significant. The source explains how negative assumptions can create this kind of internal filter.
A filter? How so?
Well, it reinforces our fears. It makes us focus on, and maybe even inadvertently attract, the very things we're trying to avoid.
Okay. So you're looking for the problems, essentially.
You could be, yeah. But on the flip side,
Positive assumptions.
they could open you up to possibilities you might have just dismissed otherwise.
Right, because you're looking for opportunities instead.
Exactly. And they can fuel your motivation, drive your persistence, because you're operating from this foundational belief that somehow it's going to end well.
I found that idea of using the affirmation, everything is working out for me, using it almost like a background command in your mind, that was really interesting.
It is powerful, isn't it? The idea that consciously repeating that phrase could actually cultivate a sense of inner calm.
And encourage proactive behavior, even when things feel really difficult.
Totally. It's like nurturing this internal resilience. A fundamental trust, maybe?
Yeah, a trust that lets you navigate the messy stuff with more composure, more sustained effort.
And it could shift your focus, right? From just reacting anxiously to problems.
To actually looking for solutions proactively. Because you're grounded in the assumption that a positive resolution is possible.
Exactly. And for you, our listener, especially if you're looking for insights that are, quick to grasp, but also really impactful.
Those aha moments.
Yeah, those aha moments without getting buried in information. This whole concept of mental engineering, of deliberately choosing empowering assumptions, it feels like a really efficient approach.
It's about focusing your mental energy on the outcome you want, as if it's already happening.
Right. Which really sets the stage for us to explore, okay, how do you actually do this?
Yeah, the practical side.
Yeah.
Because the source material doesn't just present the idea, does it? It offers more of a framework for actually integrating it.
It does. So let's dive into some of the key principles for making this shift in assumptions a real thing in your life based on what the source lays out.
Yeah.
Okay, so as we start to kind of wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
the big insight, the central takeaway from exploring Have You Ever Feared.pdf, it's definitely the transformative power of assuming a positive outcome.
Absolutely. But it's crucial to remember, the source really hammers home. This isn't passive.
Not at all. It's not just a state of mind you drift into.
No, it's an active force, something that should genuinely inform your actions, shape your whole perspective.
And right at the core of that active approach is something the source calls definiteness of purpose.
Definiteness of purpose.
It's that clear, unwavering aim, that target you've really locked onto internally.
Your must build, as they put it.
Exactly, your must build. Without that strong sense of purpose, your energy just scatters, doesn't it? Your focus gets diluted.
Totally. So defining that core purpose clearly, maybe even boiling it down to a single powerful sentence, that's the foundation.
It really is. And what's interesting is how the source connects that clarity of purpose to everything else.
How so?
Well, it acts like a compass for your decisions, right? It guides your habits. It gives you this kind of mental armor against distractions.
Okay, so ideally, everything you do, everything you engage with, from what you read to the risks you take, it should align with that core purpose.
That's the idea. Now, building on that foundation of purpose, that's where cultivating faith comes in.
Ah, faith. And the source stresses this isn't just a feeling that comes and goes.
No, not at all. It's presented more like a muscle.
Yeah.
Something you strengthen through consistent repetition, through self-suggestion.
Autosuggestion, yeah.
And importantly, by acting as if. Acting as if the outcome you want is already secured.
So it's about mentally rehearsing strength and certainty.
Yes. Rather than dwelling on, potential weaknesses or doubts.
And that act of deliberately feeding your mind, telling yourself who you want to be through repeated affirmations, visualizations, that's key.
It is. As the source notes, the mind tends to believe what it hears consistently. So regularly reinforcing that chosen identity, that helps build that solid, unshakable faith.
Okay. Then there's the power of decisive action and that striking idea of burning bridges.
Yeah, that one stands out, doesn't it? The source suggests that real transformation often requires removing the option of going back.
Cutting off the retreat.
Basically.
Yeah.
By consciously eliminating fallback plans, by fully committing to your chosen path, you activate this deeper level of mental resolve.
It's a powerful concept. It forces you to fully engage, doesn't it?
It does. As the source points out, a mind that's divided, that has one foot still in the old way, it's less likely to reach its goals.
So strategically burning bridges, it minimizes distractions and solidifies your commitment. Makes sense.
Then there's the importance of strategic alignment, what the source calls the mastermind.
Right, the people you surround yourself with.
Exactly. Intentionally choosing individuals who uplift you, who support your mission. Being really selective about your inner circle to protect your mental energy.
And the mastermind isn't just about finding cheerleaders, is it?
No, not necessarily. It's about creating this supportive network that fosters growth, that accelerates progress through maybe shared intention and mutual accountability.
And the source really advises being mindful of the influences around you, conscientiously choosing those that align with your goals.
Definitely. Then we have the law of increasing returns.
Or basically doing more than you're paid for, going the extra mile.
Pretty much. Consistently going above and beyond what's expected, it's presented as this fundamental driver of progress.
Focusing on providing exceptional value, even if the reward isn't immediate.
Exactly. This principle suggests that real lasting success often comes from that commitment to excellence, that willingness to do more than just the bare minimum.
That extra mile, as they put it, it might feel empty sometimes, but often that's where the biggest opportunities are found.
Right. And related to that is the impact of cultivating a pleasing personality.
Influencing others, building trust.
Yeah, and this isn't about being fake or inauthentic. It's about developing, warmth, confidence, clarity in how you interact with people.
This kind of cultivated energy, as the source describes it, it can act like a magnet, drawing people in, fostering collaboration.
And it involves developing those often overlooked things like your tone of voice, your presence, your genuine interest in other people.
All contributing to strong relationships and opening doors. Makes sense.
And finally, just to circle back, the power of repetition and autosuggestion.
It keeps coming up, doesn't it?
It does, because it's seen as crucial for reprogramming that subconscious mind. Consistent repetition of those empowering beliefs. That's essential for really internalizing the shift in your core assumptions.
Our subconscious mind is just highly receptive to whatever messages it gets consistently. The source really drives that home.
So consciously making that repetition, saying those affirmations, visualizing that success, making it a daily practice is vital for embedding those beliefs and making them your new default, your new reality.
Yeah.
So as you, the listener, reflect on all this, here's a final thought to chew on.
Okay.
If you truly lived and acted with the unwavering assumption, the certainty, that your biggest goals, your most ambitious dreams were already guaranteed.
If you tay no W, they were going to happen.
Yes. What's one bold step? Just one thing you do today that maybe you've been hesitating on. Let that powerful assumption fuel that very next action. This deep dive, it's really explored the incredible power you have right inside your own mind.
The power to shape your reality.
Exactly. By consciously choosing your assumptions and then acting with absolute certainty. The journey of transformation, it really seems to begin with that single, powerful, decisive choice.